everyone. My name is Natalie Blomley. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Meadowridge School. Working in admissions for the last 8 years, I've had the pleasure of meeting many new families and introducing them to the Meadowridge community. I have to say there is nothing like watching the excitement of new students on their first day of school and then waving goodbye to graduates as they head off on their journeys on the last day. It's a very special feeling around here. We've built and maintained a strong sense of community, a diverse population, and a strong educational philosophy. Meadowridge is a destination world school with families coming from all around the world. So far, over 50 countries have joined us, including our own backyard here in Meadowridge. The school is a dynamic place providing a safe, inviting experience for every student. The movement of students throughout the day is evidence in the vitality of our campus. From the art and music rooms to the science labs, from the classrooms to the playing fields, Meadowridge students are always discovering and always learning. Meadowridge is built around the IB curriculum. It's a rigorous, challenging program. We have students applying from all parts of the world for our sought-after program. Students come to us with 3 or more languages nowadays and with their own checklists of wants and needs. As word of mouth has increased, families are now placing more emphasis on the younger grades and starting to build that foundation early. They do their research and determine if we're the right fit for them as much as we're the right fit. So while we have had to reinvent the admissions process since the pandemic hit, ideally the best way to get to know the community and understand the vibe is to come and see the campus firsthand, walk the halls, poke your head in the classrooms, travel the trails, and talk to our facility and students. We are trying to make the best of this, so I hope this video gives you some insight into who we are and what we offer. Today, we're going to be joined by a current family who was welcomed into the community back in 2016. Samir, I think I actually did your tour with Shilpa and Ishan.
Yeah,
Perfect. And it was your nephew that went to the school?
that's right.
Perfect, perfect. 2 of our alum are joining us as well. Noah, who just recently graduated, and Emma, who graduated back in 2012. So we're going to get their perspective from recent and from a few years ago. Samir, if you want to give us a quick introduction to who you are, that would be great.
Sure. So my name is Samir. I was born and raised in Vancouver, but I've had the opportunity to work around the world. I've come back to make Coquitlam my home. And my background is I'm an engineer with a finance degree. I own 2 companies that focus on investment management in clean energy, and a management consulting firm that focuses on kind of organizational performance.
Perfect. Emma, how about you?
Hi, I'm Emma. I went to Meadowridge from 1999 to 2012. I did kindergarten through grade 12 at the school. I have two brothers, one that went to the school graduating in 2014, and my youngest brother's in grade 10 now, I believe. Since graduating, I did my undergrad at the University of Western Ontario, doing an honors specialization in sociology and a minor in English. And then I went on to do law school at the University of Ottawa. While at law school, I got a job at Denton's, which is a corporate law firm, international, but I got a job in our Vancouver office. And since being called to the bar, I've worked here ever since. So I'm a bankruptcy and insolvency lawyer. And that's kind of what I've been up to since graduation.
Busy girl. Noah, can you give us an introduction as well, please?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Noah. I just graduated from Meadowridge this year, and I was actually at Meadowridge for 12 years as well. So since grade 1, my sister is still currently at the school. And next year, I'll be going to the University of Western Ontario to study health sciences, hopefully with a double major with business administration. And as well, I'm currently working in the school's advancement office, just focused on alumni relations.
Perfect. And if we get things back to normal, Noah, I would gladly call upon you to help with some family tours and give the perspective from a student's view, as well as from my side. So let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. We're going to start with Noah and Emma. We'll do questions with you guys. Let's talk about your experience at the school, how it was for you. And with that, then we'll chat with Samir right after that. Okay. All right. Emma, what did you appreciate most about the school during your time here? And how has your perspective on that changed now that you have some distance from the school?
For me, I think the best part about the school was the small community and the small class size. Obviously, the classes have gotten a little bit bigger since I've graduated, but having a smaller community kind of opens up a lot of opportunities for each individual person. So because of that, I was able to do a lot of things through elementary and high school. I was in the school plays, I was on all the sports teams, I was on all the student councils. Like I just did everything. There were so many opportunities because there aren't as many people. So it's easier to get involved into a lot of things. And I think that sort of broad array of experiences provided me a really broad foundation and a really deep foundation in a lot of aspects of life. And I think it made me a very well-rounded person. I didn't really focus on one specific thing at Meadowridge. And I think that has lent itself to a broad array of experiences that I was comfortable doing in university, and has given me a lot of skills that have been really helpful to me in my professional life.
Excellent. Noah, what did you appreciate most about your time here at the school, and how has your perspective changed?
Yeah,
I know you're just fresh from leaving.
Yeah, I definitely would echo what Emma said about like a small school and stuff. I think the fact that I can still actually remember like going to say her convocation like 9 years ago or something when I was little, just because we're such a small school, is a pretty cool experience. And I think definitely also the relationships you build with teachers being in such a small school, I think is really special. Like, you know, your teachers so personally, and they're always willing to help you like outside of class time, I think is something so unique, whether it be like after schools, at lunch, or before school. If you just need to have a meeting or have questions, they're always there. And I think especially with COVID and stuff, it didn't really change. It was like, yeah, we're at home and stuff, but teachers were still available for office hours, by email if you had questions. I still felt like I had so much support, which was really important, kind of being in grade 11 at the time and doing DP. I think just having all that extra support really helped make it easier. And I think that's probably the most special thing about the school.
Perfect, thank you. Emma, what, to the best of your knowledge, differentiates our school from others?
I can, to the best of my knowledge, I'll speak to my experience. I think it kind of feeds into what Noah was saying in my last answer is, I think Meadowridge is really good at building community. I think looking back at my time at Meadowridge, I still have quite a few people that are considered best friends were in my wedding that are my friends from that's my time at Meadowridge. I've run into Mr. Burke, our headmaster, on the street and had an hour-long conversation with him just when you randomly bump into someone. I feel very supported still by a lot of people from school, be it like Noah was saying, teachers are really supportive in school, but I've always been able to reach out to them since graduation to talk about different things, be it interesting articles I've read at school, or I took high-level Shakespeare in undergrad and talked to English teachers about ideas I was having or things that I'd been doing. So I think having those strong bonds with friends, staff, teachers, other students really carries on past graduation. And I think that that's pretty special. I don't have a lot of my friends that go to other schools don't seem to have that sort of deep connection. So I'm really grateful for that.
Perfect. Noah, how about you? Do you know of anyone who's gone to other schools, anyone that maybe left that then came back, or anyone that left to a different school and just kind of has a different outlook on it?
Yeah, I've had a couple friends who actually left Meadowridge and then ended up coming back just because they recognize, like, say, once they went to a public school or somewhere else, that you don't get that kind of like support from teachers, that small community where everyone's kind of looking out for you at other schools. And I would say, especially with post-secondary, when I talk to friends who left Meadowridge, it's like, once you go into, say, a bigger community, you're not going to have that like one-on-one support time, being able to meet with your counselors whenever to get feedback and stuff and just answer any of your questions. So I think that's definitely something that makes Meadowridge special. And I also think like our campus itself and like the experiences it brings is something that like people don't realize is how unique, I think, once you're here. But now, like, once I've graduated and stuff and like you're looking at other schools, you kind of realize, hey, having like a forest, having like a campground and stuff is pretty special to Meadowridge. And just like the experience it's provided and stuff, like being able to do like biology and science related things outdoors. You're also learning about like First Nations and stuff. I think it's a really good educational experience.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's important that families know when they do get to come for open houses here and actually see the campus. We're on 27 acres. We do a lot of outdoor learning. We've got lots of opportunities for us that maybe some of the city schools on that don't have. But while we may offer the same programs, they're taught a little bit differently, of course, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Emma, if the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in 3 words?
That's a really hard question, but I think definitely warm, supportive, and challenging would be the way. I mean, challenging is not a really good way to describe a person, but I think it's a good way to just to describe the school. I found it to be I think the warmth mixed with that challenge is what I liked about the school. It's a really supportive community, but it will push you to grow and develop as a person and a student. And I think that's kind of the essence of what I think Meadowridge is.
Exactly. I think that plays into the well-rounded piece that we all strive for, right? Noah, what would your 3 words be?
Yeah, so I did think about this one a little bit and I chose caring, open-minded, and risk taker, kind of going to the IB and stuff. I think caring definitely because once, yeah, all your teachers and stuff care about you and you're kind of taught to be caring and consider the world and stuff and how you can help them. I think like community service is kind of engraved in like all areas of Meadowridge, no matter like if you're in grade 12 or kindergarten. And I also think like open-mindedness in terms of just learning about different cultures and ideas, especially in the past with different like social movements and stuff. I think like our school's done a really good job just trying to educate students and also giving us the opportunity to kind of take the action and stuff, as well as just like risk taker. I would say more in terms of like experiential education and stuff. I think something that's really important and stuff is how we go on like overnight trips starting in grade 3. Just that opportunity to even just be away from home and stuff. You're kind of, especially in outdoor settings, kind of always taking risks and stuff, like all the camping trips and stuff. That definitely like pushes everyone out of their comfort zone, but I think in a good way that helps when you're going into university.
Absolutely. Okay, Emma, what one thing would you change about the school for the better if you had to choose something?
That was also a little bit of a difficult question for me because I do have very fond memories of the school. But I think what I would really hope to see Meadowridge put some time and effort into moving forward would perhaps be athletics. I think the school has a very, very strong academics. I think the arts programs are fantastic. I think, like Noah was saying, community service is very encouraged. But I think that on the athletic side, there's still, I think it is a function of the fact that we have a smaller school. It's harder to build big teams if you have less people. But I think that athletics is something that's always been very important to me as a person. And in my professional career, people have told me that like we try to hire athletes because, you know, athletics teach teamwork and perseverance and things like that, which obviously I learned in Meadowridge in other ways. But I think that there are a lot of individuals at Meadowridge that are really, really supportive in their sports. I think Scott Spurgeon's still there. I think he's phenomenal. He was very supportive of a lot of the athletics that I was involved in Meadowridge. But I know, for example, I was on the first team to win a Division I championship at Meadowridge, and that was amazing. Mr. Spurgeon was very excited. We had like a big assembly for it, and it was really recognized at the school, and it was like one of my fondest memories. But I think athletics is one of the areas I could see Meadowridge making some strides in the future. That it was really hard to think of something though. That's all I have. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you that that one has come up a time or two on a survey. So, Noah, how about you? What's one thing that you would change about the school for the better?
Yeah, I think definitely athletics is one area that we're still growing. And I think also kind of just learning how to prioritize like mental well-being and stuff. I think especially as academics grow harder and more competitive, like kind of emphasizing to current students the importance of just taking time to relax and also like dealing with pressure is really important. And I think the school's gone a long way in improving that, having like a mental health advisory committee and going with a social emotional counselor in the future. I think just providing these resources to students is a big step, but also somewhere we can still grow a lot.
Yep, absolutely. I think we're more aware of these things, and we're open to communicating about them. Whereas a few years ago, you know, those were more behind the scenes types of issues for us. So yeah, we've come a long way, and we're still working on that. Okay, Emma, what would families find most surprising about the school?
That was also a very difficult question for me to think about because uh, I spent so much time at Meadowridge. It's hard to think of as anything as surprising. So I don't. So I think maybe what I find surprising, and I mean I've spoken about it before, but is how long the bonds I've made at Meadowridge have lasted. I think there's a big feeling when you graduate of like, oh, like these are my friends forever. I'm gonna like these people forever. And then obviously my grad class, everyone went to school all over the country. Some internationally. It was everyone kind of spread out, but it's pretty surprising to me now, 10 years later, how often I still get to see people and how deep those bonds are. And I know I've spoken about that before. So I think as an individual, I found that surprising. A family coming into the school, I don't know how much would be surprising. I think Meadowridge does a really good job of explaining when people are coming in what to expect. And I think that new students, be it someone joining in kindergarten or someone joining in high school, I from my understanding of my friends who joined later on, felt very welcomed, really understood what they were getting into right at the beginning. It didn't seem like there were any big shocks or surprises to me necessarily. I think maybe one of the things that families might find surprising is actually how much integration there is throughout the whole school. I think that especially people coming from schools that don't have kindergarten to grade 12, it's pretty incredible, the interaction that you get to have with people in other grades than your own or any other grades close to you. It's kind of, I don't know, having a kindergarten buddy in grade 12 was pretty cool to me. And I think that's a unique experience to Meadowridge, or just different sort of going to camp with I don't know if they still do this, but when I was in grade 8, we went to camp with the grade 11s and things like that. Having that sort of cross grade interaction was really cool. And I think, again, it's a function of a small school. There aren't a lot of people, so it's easier to mix grades, I guess, a little bit more. But again, that was a hard question for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think we try to be very transparent, and we certainly, while we are growing, one of the big things for us is maintaining the small community feel. We want to keep that vibe. We want to keep the kids across the grades mixing with each other, right, Noah? Like it's, you're doing things with other age groups. It's not just sticking to your own cohort and being with those kids. And I like the Kinder Buddy program. I love that you brought that up. I think that is something that we do incredibly well, and it's such a neat piece, and everybody reflects on that. So that's a fun one. Noah, same thing, right?
Speaking on that, it was pretty crazy for me.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in grade 12, my brother was in kindergarten. So I'm very excited
Yes.
for him to have a kindergarten buddy. Sorry to interrupt you, Noah.
Oh, no, all good. I was going to say, definitely like the relationships again between different grades. Like I had my kinder buddy this year, and that was such a special experience just to even get to hang out with kids in kindergarten. Like that's something most people can't even imagine. And I think that's such a cool relationship. And like I really hope I get to see him when he's older and stuff and kind of see how he's grown. But even just the fact, like working on senior council, I've worked with like kids in grade 6 to 8 on junior council, grade 5s and stuff, with fencing and stuff. And the fact that I've been able to get to know kids in younger grades, I think is a really good learning experience. And I think having those relationships is just something really special. And especially when you're younger and stuff, being able to look up to kids, in the older grades is something really inspiring and stuff, to kind of be like, okay, I want to be like this, I want to be on senior council, I want to be in sports, musicals or whatever. Just having people to look up to is a really special thing at Meadowridge, and how you can actually get to know the people that you're looking up to is a cool experience.
Just adding on to that, I still have people from Meadowridge in like grade 12 wanting to call me and talk about law school, and I'm happy to do that. And I've had the opportunity to like do the same with people that are older than me. And I think because you kind of have that, like you say, those bonds that you make when you're in school, it's I find it a lot easier to reach out to people like that. Even if, I wasn't best friends with the person or whatever, but I know that they might benefit from talking to me, or I might benefit from talking to them, or there's something I can help someone with, or I need help from someone. The door is very open post-grad as well.
Emma, what advice would you give to students just entering the school?
Go in with an open mind. I think that the school has a lot to offer. And I think that, like most things in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. I would say just jump in with 2 feet, try everything, try things, succeed at things, fail at things. It's a very safe space. It's a good space to explore your interests, what you might not be interested in, just to learn about yourself, get to know people, get to know your teachers. But I would just say, just kind of try your best to embrace everything. I think the best thing about Meadowridge is that it is a very safe place to fail. It's a safe place to try new things. It's a safe place to succeed. I think that there's a lot of supports, and I think that it's just the best opportunity to just try things. So just embrace it and try.
Awesome. Thanks, Emma. Noah, what advice would you give to students entering the school?
Yeah, it'd be pretty similar to Emma, definitely just taking advantage of every opportunity. I think, especially when you look back, you're going to be like, oh, the time went by so quickly, and you don't want to kind of regret, oh, I wish I tried this. I wish I gave this a shot just to even see, do I like it or not? And I think that's something so special for Meadowridge for me is just like over the years, I've tried so many different sports, so many different clubs, like found some that, just weren't for me, but others that I stuck with for so many years and was able to grow with, things like student council, global citizenship club, just being able to see that growth and stuff is something I'm glad I took the opportunities, especially when I was younger and didn't wait on them, because I found out early what was for me, what wasn't. And I think that really helped me, especially as I went into grade 11 and 12, is because I started like early trying things. It's like I had a better idea of what I liked, what I was good at. And I think that really helped me grow as a person, especially as I applied to university.
Awesome. Thanks, Noah. Thank you, Emma. Thank you both for your perspective on being a student here at the school. It's great to hear from you. And I hope, Samir, that you were able to mentally take some notes there. And now you can talk back to Ishan and Maya and tell them, oh, this is what I heard and this is what it's going to be.
I was definitely taking notes.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, well, let's jump into your questions, Samir. Why
Thank
did
you
you
very
choose
much.
the school? Thanks, Emma.
Sorry, Natalie.
So why did you choose the school originally? Was it what you expected, and was there anything that wasn't what you expected?
Yeah, when Shilpa and I had started to think about other school options, what we were really looking for is an environment that provided a tailored experience for our kids, an environment that would kind of encourage them to go deeper in their strengths and interests, but also create a safe space for them to take on risks in areas that maybe they hadn't tried before, or things that they don't come naturally to them. We were looking for that type of environment, kind of the infrastructure that would come with that. When we came to the campus, really we fell in love with the campus. It has such a calm persona. The backdrop is breathtaking. The greenery, like it really feels like you're on a campus, like you're kind of in your in a learning environment. So really we fell in love with that, and it just sort of started to build when we started to meet some of the faculty. We met some of the students. It really gave us an idea of the learning process that is in place at Meadowridge, and really kind of spoke to us. And so we've been at the school since 2016, and now another of our kids is at the school, much younger. And I think, in our perspective, they're totally thriving. They're motivated, they're energetic, they look forward to going to school. And it's not just about the academics, it's about the people, it's about the environment, it's about the athletics, the resources. These were all things that we came to learn over time. I think something that we hadn't expected to the degree was the emphasis on community service, which really speaks to both of us in terms of, this is like one of our family values, is around giving back to our community, and to see that so front and center in the school was really like a really pleasant surprise for us. And our kids have totally embraced that, and it's great to see models for like amongst their peers of how individuals have taken that that interest and passion in their own ways, right? Some people are more visible in how they do it, and others are in the background, and both are just fine. And it's great to see those kind of role models play out, and our kids have kind of embraced that. Something else that maybe we didn't expect, and we should have kind of expected, was the challenges that come with having a school that's a little bit more remote or far afield. So having an attachment that's broader, it just means that we've had to take on more initiative to create opportunities for our kids to have relationships with their friends outside of school. And so that would be something that we knew about, but we you never really know how much work that is until you're in it. And it's just something about being a parent, right? So it's something we didn't, or we're expecting now.
Learning experience for all of us. Yeah. Okay. What is the biggest impact that the school has had on the kids?
The biggest impact, I think, is an appreciation for the environment. I think they have both really taken advantage of the unique setting that the school is on in terms of the trails, the forest, the fields. I think they have a pretty supreme respect for now, like respect for the environment and appreciation for, the beauty that it creates for us and the calmness it can create for us. And also the responsibility that it brings on us to take care of our environment. So I think that I've seen really strong in both my kids.
Perfect. What things do your kids say about the school?
So my daughter would say she loves the teachers. They're like role models for her. They're kind, encouraging. I think she'd also say that they're really creative in how they present the topics that they learn in the class. So whether that's bringing in, different learning models. So whether it's hands-on or whether it's a group problem solving type of activity, she really enjoys that and comments on that. The other thing that she would say is that she, at an age appropriate level, how aware she is about some of the issues that our society is facing. So climate change, social justice, the relationship Canada has with First Nations. These are all fairly deep concepts or topics, yet she has an appreciation that I'm getting exposed to this and I understand it to the level that makes sense for me, and she can have the dialogue with us at the dinner table. So she does recognize that this is different than what how I've grown up or how I went to school. My son, he'd say he's really appreciative of the resources that are made available to him, whether that's like the facilities, so the weight training room, the soccer fields, the forest. Obviously, he spends as much time as he can in the trails and the forests, and I think he has a really strong appreciation for that. The other thing he would really appreciate or has appreciated is the different ways that hands-on learning has been kind of adopted within the classroom. So within design and art, they're very like hands-on, and that comes natural. But I think in other subjects, how group discussions, debates, how multimedia tools have been brought in to learn the concepts in a different way. And I think that's really helpful because not everybody learns the same way. Some people learn tactically, some people learn visually. And I think my son has really recognized that has helped him in some areas.
That's great. If the school were to be represented as a single person, what 3 words would you use to describe it?
I would say, and I think this is similar to what Noah was saying, is my word would be growth-oriented, caring, and balanced. So those would be the 3 words I would use. And growth-oriented, and I think, so from my perspective as a parent, I see it at a few different levels. I see it as in the leadership of the school. We think about the vision for the school and how much change and risk that has been considered in how the school has expanded. I think that's a very thoughtful way they've taken to growing the school and growing the infrastructure. And then the second level I would see is around the staff, the teachers, the support staff, how innovative they've been in terms of encouraging, students' interests and passions and responding to things that were totally out of anyone's control, like how in the heights of the pandemic, tools like the Griffin channel, like the 30-day challenge, these were all things that I thought were really innovative practices that help to bring the school together and kind of help us get through some of really tough times. And then at the individual person level, I see growth in the vocabulary. So I hear growth mindset from my kids and how that's, how the behaviors they're trying to model. So I see that characteristic at the different levels of my observations in the school. So I really think that's an amazing characteristic to see so consistent throughout the school. So I've talked a lot, but maybe I'll just continue with balanced. For me, balance shows up in the kind of thoughtful way decisions are made in the school and the communications that come out. There's lots of communication channels that are used by the school, and I think with a school, more is better than less. And I think that's definitely been appreciated on our side. And I think it's just the way the communications have been framed are very thoughtful. And that, a lot of consideration has been put into some of these, sometimes significant decisions. Caring. I see caring at the individual level. So both my kids are great. They all have challenges, day-to-day challenges, whether they're, I can't learn this thing, the skill, interpersonal challenges, or, in some cases, physical or mental health challenges that, occur. Almost universally, I've been so amazed at how the teachers have been taking the care and attention to point out things to us as parents, whether that's an email in the morning to let us know how our daughter's doing. These are all things that I see as really caring about the kids that are in the school. So that's, I see that at that level. I see caring at the community level. Noah has brought it up as well. And I think the emphasis around community service shows the depth of care for our community and society, whether that's supporting individuals like who have taken on the initiative to help an organization through fundraising, whether that's writing letters to a long-term care home during the pandemic. These are all things that I think, as a parent, I see them and I'm like, wow, this is action put against words. So really comes to life for me.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the changes that we had to do in pivoting with the pandemic, some positives have definitely come out of it. Not something I would like to carry on with in regards to the pandemic, but I think the positives that have come out of this have taught us a lot, and we'll be able to carry on with some of these great activities that have happened. And I loved when we saw the letters that were being written by the kids, and just to be an elderly person in a care home that suddenly was isolated from the world. I can't imagine what that meant to them to receive those. And it was great that that initiative actually came from a student. So I think our kids that are in the school, really do speak to who we are, and it's not necessarily always the teacher coming up with it being innovative, but whether it's a parent or whether it's actually a student, I think that speaks to who our community is. Absolutely. Lastly, Samir, how would you describe the values of the school and the values of the families that are in the community?
This one was this is probably the hardest question you've asked, Natalie. I'd say the first value that, in my own words, would be lifelong learner or lifelong learning. I feel like when I see the mission statement, when I see or read the mission statement, when I see a lot of the in-class activity and exercises and discussions, I feel like the school is really trying to foster this lifelong learner. And that really resonates for me. I like to dabble in lots of things, and I think it's so healthy. And I love the fact that, my kids are getting encouraged in that way to think of learning as not a school thing, but a lifelong characteristic or habit or mindset. So I know that's one value that I see kind of shared between families and the school. And I think it's super, like in my mind, that's like the number one value that I kind of latch onto. The second value that I can think of would probably be the sense of what do you call it, like a responsibility, personal responsibility. Like we all recognize, or at least I think everyone recognizes how fortunate we are to live in the country we do, in the city we live in, and go to the school that has all these opportunities, but that there's a responsibility that comes with that good fortune. And that shows up in the community service in spades. And I think it also shows up in how, when you see graduates like Noah and Emily come out, how they have also taken that beyond the school. And I think that, that's really where I would say the other value that I see common between families and the school.
Absolutely. That very much that stands true for me as well. I look at Noah, and you are, the perfect student that has gained a lot from the school, but has also given back so much. So, your mom, for example, I think she started out she was a grade rep, and then she of course became the chair of the parent guild, and now she's a board member. And, it's just, you come to the school, and it's of course a privilege to be here, but it's a privilege for the teachers as well, educating the kids and seeing you come out like this, and then to have the parents give as much as they do. Everybody is the winners coming out on top for this, I think, for all of us, definitely. Okay, guys, well, I think we are about done. I thank you both for your time, and I certainly hope that prospective families, visiting families, are able to have a look at our video and kind of sense who we are and what we're all about. Is there anything you guys want to add? Noah, anything else to your journey? No?
No, I think I've said everything.
I think you have as well.
Yeah.
And you should be very proud of yourself. Your mark's just amazing coming out of graduation.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Best of luck in the fall, Noah.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Thank you so much, Samir. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I look forward to seeing you guys back on campus. Pretty soon we'll be able to open the doors again and have visitors and see parents as well as all the kids. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks so much, Natalie.
Okay, thanks guys. Take care. Bye.